Julfer 9211 coming at you with another video. This video is gonna be regarding the Dark Magician deck, as you had already guessed, and some of the combos that were introduced late 2019 to early 2020 when I started uploading the videos at the beginning of 2020 when COVID hit, because that's around the time mid-year when the COVID started hitting and everywhere started shutting down, so people couldn't attend their locals no more. And I just wanted to take a few moments to cover them. There's a video that I did 6 months ago, something like that, with this format already, because I'm really, really, really light years ahead of the whole Yu-Gi-Oh world and community, because today they still haven't figured out Dark Magician. You don't take my word for it. Like, don't listen to me. You go to their channel. Everyone has crashed and burned their Dark Magician that exists in planet Earth. It's not just me. That's one of the reasons why they hate me, because I figured out Dark Magician in 2019, and then in 2020 was when I started destroying everything, every deck that it was ever made. So it's never changed after that. There's always been an update of the Dark Magician deck, but it's the same profile, but just the updated version with the new cards that weren't available before. So on the 4th of July, I did a new update, and like I said in my other video, I'm gonna be giving it only to the Discord people. And then hopefully you guys been liking and commenting on my videos, so I can keep making these, or else what's the point? And then also been giving the free cards away. Make sure you check out the other channels. And then I also, the video before this, I also put the website online for my Discord people only. It sells to the whole world, but there is a specific there's gonna be a specific bundle of cards in there. It might be like $100 or $200 worth of cards, but from there you guys can go and pull cards out. Like, tell me what cards you like from there, and they can be pulled out to be given for free. Basically, they're my cards, and I can do what I want with them. So that includes giving them away for free. So there's a link on there. It's the online store. If you click on the link, the name is Jules12. And then let's get into the profile and talking again on what it was that my channel, Julfer9211, introduced back in 2019, almost 4 years ago, and 2020, which has been it's going to be coming up on the 3 years. And what happened was I noticed that none of the profiles that exist work, but people like to lie, so that's just the way it is. The smart people, they're just a handful, and the people that are not smart, that's everybody else. That's always been like that. It's always gonna be like that. So what I did was I decided to dismantle the deck and not copy anyone, and that's when I got results. I started beating everything easily. Tier 1, Tier 0, first place regionals, first place nationals. And if you notice, when you leave people by themselves, you go to their channel, they don't have any content. But as soon as they come to my channel, their content changes. They're able to destroy all the powerful decks that nobody else can. They may argue with me and say I suck, but it doesn't matter what you say. It's the results, it's the success that counts. That's all that counts. If there's a multi-billionaire person and you tell him he's a loser, it's kind of hard, because his success tells you otherwise. It's not based on what you say, it's based on his success. So I'm successful at destroying every deck that exists on the planet. Not everybody else is. Then I do it with the weakest deck, Dark Magician. So the first thing that I thought about doing on the list here, you notice, is the Draw Power. So I introduced Draw Power to the Dark Magician deck that nobody had done before. So engines that introduced that Draw Power are obviously a sequence. For example, the Spellbook engine, because you don't have to actually normal summon anything to activate it. If you have the Spellbook engine in your hand, you can trigger it from your hand and draw 2 cards, and then you can still do your normal summon. But if not, you could do combos like Rod, and they hand trap you. You can still chain sequence the Spellbook engine from the secrets to the knowledge, and then from the knowledge you hit Rod. You can hit Rod and draw 2 cards. So even though negated them, you draw into 2 cards, and from those 2 cards, obviously you can stack the Magician Souls like an apprentice. The Soul Servant. You can stack the Magician Souls, because a lot of people argue that Upstart Goblin is really broken in the Dark Magician. They have no clue that the Spellbook engines is a lot better, because you could draw 2 instead of 1. And then this sends the resource to the graveyard for whatever you might need, like a Rod, to start chaining it with Eternal and Dark Magician, or with the Circle. So yeah, that's one of the Draw Power engines, is definitely the Spellbook engine. So the ability to normal summon and then special summon and then link 2 to go to Crawly, and you can go into your deck. So you don't need to have the Spellbook in your hand. It'll search it from your deck. There's a 70 it's a let me see. There's 3 of them. There's 3, the Spellbook, a secret Spellbook, a knowledge, and then the Spellbook of what's it called? Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. So 2 of them you need, the other one you don't. You don't need unless you have it in normal. So I'll explain real quick. If you've normaled and you get Spellbook Magician of Prophecy, it's dead because you can't normal twice, right? So what you want to do is, if you have it normal, then you want to trigger it just in case. That way you can still normal, because it happens that sometimes you don't get a normal summon. So you can trigger it, you can special twice and then activate it, then you can get it, and you'll play through the whole 5 cards, because Spellbook Prophecy gets secret gets knowledge hits Spellbook Prophecy, then you draw 2 cards, and if you add it up, it's 5 cards total. And then those 2 extra cards, they'll chain to draw more, because 90% of the deck is either search cards or draw. That's the way I made it. That's why I'm able to draw close to 17 cards in my first turn, even through negations, and that doesn't include the 5 cards you already have in your hand. So you end up with about 19 or 18 cards in your deck in your first turn. So that's how I figured out that you go into 4 turns in the future. That's how I'm able to beat tier 1 and tier 0 decks that no one else can. People who challenge my channel, I tell them I give them 12 months, which is a full year, to upload videos of how they beat tier 0, tier 1. Till this day, there has been nobody who could do it. So the only people that are able to do it are the people that are in my Discord, in my group, or were my students that I taught them. And a large group of the students, they also turn on me, because it could be a lot of things. It could be jealousy, it could be envy. A lot of people get angry because of how good the deck is. And sometimes they don't want to play it, they just want to lose, and you gotta let people lose if that's what they want to do. But people who try the deck see the formats, they see the results, you get the good feeling. Basically, don't do nothing, you just take a format and kill everything. That's how simple it is. So yeah, the draw power is definitely there. There's a lot of draw power in Dark Magician. And the main thing is that all the cards search, all the cards draw, also the cards stack, like also the what is it called, the restage combo, which is a tier 0 style from one restage, you can bring a magician's souls back, activate, discard that card that stays on the field, draw, and then you draw one card. From there, you can link to Anima, and then from Anima, if there's another monster you could do, or from the card you drew, you could special and go into Crawley and draw some more. Obviously, the way that I do it is I play Salvation. Obviously, it stays out there, or I play it stays out there, or I play any other field spell card. And what ends up happening is, while it's up there, you actually draw two, and then when it goes to the graveyard, the restage triggers and it gets you the right hand or the left hand, preferably the right hand. But when you do it competitively, you don't want to add it because sometimes tier 1 and tier 0 can break you a bit. So that's why on the tier 1, tier 0 style Dark Mission, I don't have it. But you can add it on the online. It works just well because of the way that the AI shuffles your deck. But yeah, you draw those, you draw two, plus you draw the right hand. So you're gonna be negating the first spell, and you can do an Omni negate with it because you can let him play three spells, and then that fourth spell that he plays, if you don't like it, like let's say he plays Monster Reborn, you let that go. He plays he plays the field spell, you let that go. And then he tries to play Harpy's Feather, then you trigger Eternal to special summon Dark Mission, and it'll burn the Harpy's Feather. So um, Dark Mission and Graveyard, Eternal Soul with the right hand, which is easy to get. I mean, Eternal Soul, if you can't get an Eternal Soul, you don't know how to play Dark Magician. And if you can't dump on Dark Mission in the graveyard, you probably don't know how to play Dark Magician. And if you're not able to draw a right hand, the restage does it on its own, or you could just draw it. You just trigger it, and basically it's a Omni negate for a spell. I've used it on broken cards, like Pot Prosperity, Pot of Extravagance, Pot of Desires, all the pots you can think of, they play it, and I just trigger Eternal, Dark Mission, and burn it. And some of them say you can only play it during your main phase. Cards like Lightning Storm, that's very expensive, and say you can't activate it unless you have no face-up cards. So they trigger it main phase, and you just chain it, burn it. It gets burned. It's so funny. And then if they don't get rid of it, it's gonna be there the next turn. So every turn following, they're gonna be one negation of a spell. So they gotta get used to it. That's why my deck is so dangerous, because I don't play the 99.9% of Dark Magician players, which they play the bad Dark Magician, which is hand traps. They discard it, can be reused, it's gone, and you only stop one card, and they still have a lot more. And then if you use 3 hand traps, like 2 impermanence, 1 ash, that's 3. You're already short those cards. You don't have them no more, so you're missing in your top deck, and that's why they lose. They can't figure it out. They're not smart. So what the build that I have, when you play a card, it doesn't go nowhere. It's there for the rest of the game. You never lost it. And that same card, you could use it with Magician Souls. If you want to open the field, like let's say you have 4 spell traps in the back row, and you feel like it's too crowded, just use the effect of Magician Souls and send 2 of them to draw 2 more. So that's the main thought of it. A lot of people, even though they hate my format, a lot of people still play it. I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people are still playing. They're copying my format. They just don't tell you, but it's my format. If you ever see like a Spellbook Engine, Mystic Mind combo, all the combos are here. I invented those in 2019 and 2020. So yeah, the draw power is crazy. Then also dumping the Dark Mission grow pretty quick with the Apprentice Illusions. Dumping them fast. All the bricks, and you have Veil. All of those trigger it to come to the field too. Um, and all those create more draw power, and then those are used for discard. So you're not really discarding your important cards, just the bricks to go to the graveyard. So people are like, oh, those cards are bricky, or having Dark Magician on your deck hand is bricky. No, it's not. Actually, you're supposed to pull the bricks out of your deck because you don't want to draw them. That's why Eternal Soul has the effect to pull Dark Magic attack from your deck. You could pull that to use it, or if you don't want to use it, you could just use it as a discard for Dragoon. And so, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Almost every card in the deck does two things: either searches or draws, and they do the same thing. They just draw cards. So there's a plenty of draw power, plenty. Um, and then on top of that, Eternal Circle combo. Obviously, there's a lot of combos with it. You can play it together with the right hand. Uh, you can play it with, there can only be one combo. You can play it with Skill Drain. You can play it with the Dragoon. You could play the combo with Dragon Knight. Yeah, this combo is broken too for the Apprentice because nothing's gonna go past 4,500 once you boost. Then you have the fusion combos, which are the Dragoon and Dragon Knight, and then they have all the other ones with like super poly effects, and basically both of the extra deck together with their hand is already made to go in through a bunch of fusions. So they have to deal with their draw power. They have to deal with their Eternal Circle combos, and that combo has plenty of them that shut the field down. Top of that, they has fusion combos, a lot of them. And then it has the village lockdown at any point in the game with terraforming. Then you have the one lockdown, which is basically there can only be one, and you just combo off with the extra deck. That's a combo on its own, and it basically locks everything. If they get out of hand, you just super poly and get rid of their three monsters or two, at least two of them. Then you have your skill drain, Eternal Shutdown, which is also broken. You know, at that point, if they can't get rid of the back row, and they're not gonna be able to because everything's protected. If Dragon Knight is not out, you have Imperial Custom, so they're gonna use Feather, they're gonna use whatever, and you're just gonna stop it. If they're trying to play Cyclone, you just right hand it, or there's other plays that you could do to stop it. Because we also have access to Naruto, which is one negate of a spell or trap return. You have Dragoon, you have Dragon Knight, you have Imperial Custom. There's a lot of cards to protect your back row village. You have like 6 or different outs to everything. Everything's already been thought of. You're like years ahead of your opponent. Then on top of that, you also have the Mystic Mind combo. I was the one who invented it. I was the one who told everyone to play Mystic Mind since 2019, and everybody said no. And now everybody's submitting. What was it, like a month ago? So what happened was 2 months ago, the ban list hit, and nobody knew what they were doing. So everybody hates me, and they're trying to fight my format. But my format is old format, it's 3 years old, and they have no choice but to submit to my format. Like, they're finally playing my deck. They're not playing my exact format because they hate me, they hate my deck, but they're starting to incorporate all my combos. So basically they're copying my deck. So they're starting to incorporate the spellbook engine, they're starting to incorporate the floodgate engine, they're starting to go away from the hand traps, and they're getting a lot of success. They're starting to play the Dark Magician Invoked. They're starting to go for the Eternal Circle, and a lot of people started doing the Mystic Mind combo, which I was the one who, I don't want to say invented it, because I think Mystic Mind was already available before I started playing again. I started playing in May 2019, so I don't know how long the Mystic Mind had been available, but that's when I started playing the Mystic Mind combo. and you can see it in my videos as early as 2020, the beginning of 2020. Basically, if you normal summon a monster and they Ash Blossom it, as revenge, you can hit Mystic Mine, so that'll you didn't drop what you wanted, but you're also gonna block him. So if he can get rid of the Mystic Mine, he's locked. He's gonna have to normal one end his turn, just hit back row. And you shouldn't worry so much because your deck is set up for draw power. So if you can, just go into draw power and then use Mystic at the end. And then with the Eternal, you can trigger it, the effect, Rod, and then you pop your monster and your opponent's locked. I was the one who taught that. The first person I taught it to was Magic Calibra. When I taught him like 2 years ago, he never won a duel. Like he had trouble. He told me he did, but I mean I saw his videos and the videos were enough exposure. Like he wasn't winning any duels, and then I took him to the next level. Then he started winning a lot of duels. He started making people surrender. He started getting really good, really powerful. Then he left Yu-Gi-Oh right around when the ban list hit. Um, a lot of people left Yu-Gi-Oh. He has his reasons, and everybody else does too. But everybody left the Dark Magician as soon as the ban list hit. That's a fact. Like look it up. I mean, even the most popular Dark Magician player right now, more likely he doesn't have a deck. In case you didn't know, if you play Dark Magician, you're probably not playing one right now. Is the truth, because nobody knows what they're doing except my channel. And yeah, so you got the Mystic Mind combo besides all the other combos that I have, and then on top of that, there's a lot more combos than that going on, and we're gonna be going into the other part of the video. Here's the other part of the video. So this one's an interesting one. My format, um, people, a lot of people hate my channel and hate me personally. They hate my profiles because of this. This is one of the reasons, because people have asked me, why is it that I'm hated so much? People want to know. And the answer is pretty simple. They hate me because I invented the best Dark Magician to ever be created, Dark Magician deck. So my Dark Magician deck is the only deck in existence since 2019 with proof that I'm not affected by hand traps. Hand traps do not affect me. As a 95% at 95%, which is almost 100%. One negation doesn't affect me at all. It's the same like they didn't do nothing. Two negations, even from my first 5 hand, I would say at least 80% I'm able to out it still. In case you didn't know, Dark Magician is known for being shut down by one hand trap like Ash Blossom. That's why a Dark Magician community can never get better, because they play 3 refs, it gets ashed, and then they pass. So I don't play like that, because that deck profile is for Dark Magician players that don't know how to play Dark Magician. That's why everybody does that. So basically, I play Dragoon and Dragon Knight and any other fusions from the resources of my hand. Not through chaining them through the deck like searching. That's not how I do it. I do it through the draw power, because people rather search it and get it blocked, and then you have to end your turn with no monsters. So what I did was I decided to draw into my deck, and as I draw all the cards, then chain search through the draw. So they can Ash Blossom it, because even if they Ash Blossom it, the cards will chain again until I get what I want. To put it simply, doesn't matter what my opponent does, I'm still gonna do what I want. That's the very simple concept of it. It doesn't matter what he does, I'll do what I want anyways. So it's not affected by hand traps, at least two. I'm probably the only person in the world with a Dark Mission deck that's taken 4 negations per turn, and I have videos to prove. I took in 4 in 1 turn, and sometimes I took in 4 in my first turn with 6 cards, so I just have 2 live cards, everything else got dead, and I still won the duel. So my deck is maxed out. I think I have a video that the guy had 8 negations against me, and I still won. So my max is 8 negations with my Dark Mission. The minimal is 1, and my average is 2 to 3 negations per turn, and I still win. That's the average. Dark Magician players can't even take any negations. If you negate them, they lose. That's not how my deck is. The second card that we're not affected by is Kaijus. Kaijus do not affect our deck. When they trigger the Kaijus, all it does is trigger more effects. Um, because our deck is built to bring them back, or to utilize our opponent's field, or to floodgate. So honestly, we're not affected by Kaijus. I've shown it. Um, I've played decks on purpose that they hate my channel, and they challenge me. They tell me like, "What do you mean you're not affected?" And they challenge me with decks that are pure hand traps, and I can show you a reference. I've had people where they've hand trapped me 6 times in 2 turns. That's 3 hand traps per turn, and I still won. And then the same thing for the Kaijus. People with Kaiju decks have challenged me, and I beat them easily. Um, then we're not affected by Mystic Mind because our deck is rigged to where it escapes it. Because our monsters are always sent to the graveyard to chain draw and search. So Mystic Mind, we're not affected by it. And on top of that, we have a lot of ways out of Mystic. So that's why the Mystic Mind that nobody else in the world can beat. In fact, it's considered cancerous. No one likes it, and people hate Mystic Mind and the card itself. We love it. Mystic Mind is one of the world's weakest decks for us, and that goes to show you how powerful my Dark Magician decks are. Then also another thing that I forgot to write down. My decks, we don't cry about any cards, we don't complain about any cards, and we don't make up cards that don't exist. We don't live in the fantasy world. We just work with what we have, and we get the job done, period. Um, the other unaffected things that we're unaffected by all the feared meta decks, like the Flundries, the Mystic Mind, Sword Soul, Tinny, you name them, and not just the meta, top tier, first place, top 10, top 32 regionals, top 30, top 16, top 10 nationals, all of those decks undefeated first place. Not just the meta decks, we're unaffected by none of them. None of the decks affect us. And then there's decks that are made to kill our Dark Mission deck, specifically mine, because people want to make fun of me, and they bring tier 0 decks, locking spells, all the traps, all the monster effects, and they still couldn't stop me. I have those in my channel. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll show you. You will never in your life, as long as you live, find another Dark Mission player, especially with this current ban list, that has all their spells blocked and they still win a duel with the tier 0 deck. Me, I have duels where I did it. So we're not affected by any deck. Then also we're not affected by back row removal because we have a lot of different accesses to back row protection. So if we go down the list, we have 1 Village, 2 Dragon Knight, 3 Dragoon, 4 Imperial Custom, 5 Magician's Right Hand. We have 5 ways to back row removal. So if you and then 6 with Naruto. That's 6 back row removal protection cards, and some of these cards can come out multiple times. Like if they leave the field, they can come back. So yeah, I counted 6. I'm sure we have more. I don't remember them off my head right now, but those are the main ones. So you have 6 to 7 different ways. Oh yeah, you have 7 with Macaba. So it's seven cards to back row protection, and they're all Omni, which means you trigger it based on what you want. So they're not getting rid of your back row, and that's why decks can't beat me, because they're using resources to pop my back row, and I'm negating them. So if they use 2 cards, I burn them. So then they had 3 cards and 2 of them are burned. They only have 1 card, and my field is full. So basically, they're utilizing resources and burning them. They're top decking, and my field is full with Omni negations and 3,000, 4,000 hitters. And then with the Apprentice, I boost. The Dark Mission can even go past like 8,000 because Dark Mission is 2,500, and you have 3 Apprentice. You boost it by 6. That's like 8,500. You get OTK. You can even OTK with the rod. So yeah, none of the back row removal were affected by it. Even if you weren't to have a way to negate it, it doesn't matter, because the Magician Souls, the Soul Servants lets you re-get the card and re-put it back on the field again. So even though they use that resource, you just play it back. And then the deck is also set up for the Dragoon, so even if the pack pop the back row, Dragoon's still alive. And then also in the back row, they have to pick and choose. Like a lot of people play Cyclone when they play a regionals events or nationals. Like when people play professionally, like the big dogs, they play Cyclone. It's only one, so they have to choose what to banish, but we got too much back row. They have to select either the Mystic or the Eternal Soul or the Skill Drain, or there can only be one, or the Magician's Right Hand, and the Magician's Right Hand's gonna burn that card anyways, or the Village. You see what I mean? It's like they can only choose one to burn, but if they choose the wrong one, they're gonna lose. It's not like there's only one. There's a lot of them, and when you get rid of one, the other ones are still gonna make you lose. You're basically stuck. And then when you use Harpy's Feather Duster, that's when I'll negate it. So you decide what goes and what doesn't. And then there's a lot more that this deck does. It's unaffected by a lot more things. So it's unaffected by tier 1 decks, tier 0. So I already did a reformat on it, like I said recently, and I'm gonna be showing you guys the profile so you can copy it. So yeah, so with that having been said, guys, I don't want to end it right now, but you guys let me know in the comments. You guys gotta please start being more active on the channel to show interest. Like, what is it that you want to see? You guys are authorized to move the channel in the direction you want to see. As you already know, I do only Dark Mission content because that's where I specialize. That's where I have all the free cards. I have access to everything. If you guys want to see other decks or something like that, I can collaborate with other people, and they can introduce decks. Obviously, I'm not going to be playing them, but they are. I've been looking for Blue Eyes White Dragon players so they can come to my channel and kind of collab with me and be friends. I really think Blue Eyes has potential with the branded stuff. I am gonna be giving some branded cards away pretty soon, so you guys stay tuned for that. And the profile, as always, you guys stay safe, take care. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for everybody who's been buying the cards and decks. I appreciate everyone. And without further ado, I mean, that's gonna wrap it up, you guys. Dark Magic Attack.